This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas. It's really great to have you with us this morning. I hope your 2020 is going well. Here we are in the roaring 20s. So let's have a good party and try to be smarter than the folks back in the 1920s were. You know, they were headed for a big fall after the big party. So let's see if we can't learn from a few of those mistakes and do better, unlike most people in history. Well, history nerd that I am, I was looking back at what would have happened on this date had we been living, say, a few hundred years ago. 1559, Queen Elizabeth I was crowned queen at Westminster Abbey. Now, I had the good fortune to visit Westminster Abbey a few years ago and to walk in the places where those famous people walked. And that was really, really something. I actually got to share that with my granddaughter, which made it even more special. But the really special thing, of course, about Westminster Abbey is all the folks that are entombed there. Elizabeth herself is entombed at Westminster Abbey. And then Mary, Queen of Scots, Sir Isaac Newton, it just goes on and on. And as I was walking across the floor, there underneath my feet, Lawrence of Arabia. Oh my gosh, does it get any better than that? Not really. It was like nirvana. But a few miles closer to home on this day in history, we had the great good fortune, of course, of having Harry Truman in office. And Harry from Missouri, just across the way, was the first president to use radio and television to say goodbye to the country. Now, of course, when he was moving out, Ike, the boy from Kansas, was moving in. So the Midwest really had the market cornered on leadership there for several years. So, of course, the relationship between newspaper and other forms of media had really been something before that. But with the advent of television and radio, with that broadcast media into presidential politics, well, you all know the rest of the story, don't you? Hasn't that been quite the trip? So, Harry started it all on this date in 1953. So it's a real good time to go back and look into a little presidential politics. You know, pick up a book. If you haven't visited, go over and visit Harry's home in Independence, Missouri. It is a fabulous library and museum. And of course, Abilene, we have the Presidential Library for Ike, for Dwight D. Eisenhower here in Kansas. And they have done some remodeling, and that is pretty fantastic. Valuable lessons to be learned from these men and their times. So take a little time and check those out. Hey, we've got a great show for you today. So stay with us.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
Kim Mannering with Hardy Insurance. Today we will talk about employee safety and work comp coverage. On your farm, do you ask your friends to come help? Are they considered employees or neighbors helping neighbors? Did you know that you can be held responsible just as if it's a work comp accident? Give me a call, we can discuss. 316-945-6733.